All right guys, so I have a fairly cool ZZ plant here. It's always surprised me. So this stem popped up yellow. I've been gone for about 2 weeks, so you could see it started to go brown here, but this was yellow last year. It shot up. I think this was the stem that was like fully yellow. And I was like, whoa, there wasn't really any green on it, but I just looked at this very closely and you can see that this leaf right here has one little green birthmark. Look at that, so tiny. But I was actually shocked because I didn't think it would throw out another yellow stem. And this is a black ZZ, this is a ZZ Raven. But I think I must have had 2 clumps in here and one was starting to get variegated and then boom, fully big leaf with all these leaflets and it went totally variegated on me. So I think what I'm gonna do, these yellow ones don't really last very long. Like I said, I was gone for 2 weeks. It shot up a yellow stem like 2 weeks ago and you can see these brown ones like this. Look at the petioles just kind of falling off right here. So I really wanna take an opportunity to try to propagate these. And I'm glad I got home when I did because these are not gonna be good propagation ones because they're already starting to disintegrate. And I'd rather, like especially when you're doing a propagation you know, of any plant, you wanna take some of the best leaves. And I still feel like, you know, I don't know how many of these I have left that I could propagate, but maybe a half dozen or 10 or so. So something like this just won't cut it. And I actually usually I don't know if I've ever taken a leaf propagation of variegated ZZs. I'm gonna clip this off too. It's a little gooey, ew. So I have these shears and then I also have this knife and you wanna have a clean cut. So just to give you a sense of like the morphology of the ZZ plant, this is the entire leaf, this whole blade, and these are actually the leaflets. And this little stem that connects to this main stem to the leaf, this is the petiole. That's what that's called in between. And you want to get a clean cut of a piece of the petiole. You probably want to clean shape it to, you know, this stem because that's where the meristem is. That's where the dividing cells are that's going to differentiate and turn into roots. So I'm looking at this. This has a little brown tip. I'm gonna try this. Now, yellow variegation, when it's purely yellow, doesn't always propagate as easily, I have to say. You usually wanna do it with green leaves, but we're gonna try it, you know? That's what plants are. It's sometimes trial and error. This one has a little brown starting. We're going to try this one. Sorry, might be blocking with my hands, but I'm gonna try the knife. I might slice it a little better. And then this one looks good. These bottom ones look really good. So I'm gonna slice that off. Now I could just slice off this whole stem and then slice the leaves off, but I'm gonna keep some of these leaves on. But I'm doing this now because I'm gonna be heading out again soon. And if I'm gone for another week or 2, I think this is gonna be all brown. So I wanna give myself a chance. And I realize I'm seeing the front of this plant. You can see what the front of this plant looks like because you're looking at it from the back. So I could just stand back here and you can see. So I'm just gonna carefully slice this off. You see, I got some of that petiole. And then this one's okay. I'd be more worried if it was like brown towards the bottom. This one's brown towards the tip. And it might take several weeks to a couple months to actually see any signs of roots on these ZZ plants. And green leaves are gonna be a lot easier. I've actually never done it for the black ZZ. I might actually take a couple leaf cuttings of that as well. And I'm just gonna slice this. Slicing very close to the stem here. Might be even getting a part of the stem. Okay. This one as well. This plant is gonna look like it's gotten a true haircut afterwards. There you go. Typically you wanna take a number of leaves because not all of them may root. Although ZZ plants, they give you lots of different ways to propagate them. You could propagate them by the full stem, which I'll show you. I've actually done this here. This one is, I could have repotted this 1,000,001 years ago, but I haven't. Look at how chunky these roots are. Hold on, let me pull it out. Look how chunky those roots are. See that? And some of the tubers are forming down there too, because this is a tuberous plant. So yeah, you could cut off a full stem. Oh, I gotta stuff that back down in there. This is just like my little water propagation station. And actually, I should say that I am going to take some water propagation and some soil propagation, so we'll see what does best. I think these leaves, you know, they're kind of coming off on their own. They're not looking so great. Look, I could just pull those off, so those will be going into the compost pile. Like I said, I think this is like in the last stages of its own development. So let's see how many we have here. If one, I feel like I'm counting cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 10 of them. Look at that little birthmark one on that one. That's so cute. Now, I don't know how well these are going to propagate because there's a lack of chlorophyll here, but we're going to give them a shot. And I just have like these little containers, so this one is probably where I'm going to do the water propagation. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have the petioles touching the water at all times. And because this will probably be sitting in the water for 2 months, you know, every week that I come back or 2 weeks, I'm going to have to remind myself to just wash out the water because it could get a little kind of gunky. It could get some algal growth if you're using like a clear jar like this. If you're using a brown jar or like a dark green jar, you're going to have less algal growth in there because if you have it like near sunlight, I wouldn't put it in direct sunlight, but I'd put it in like some indirect sunlight. So here's that. So I have that one in there. And I'm just gonna safeguard myself and put some in different containers just in case some of them gets gunky. In fact, I'm gonna take this big one out and see if I can put it in here. Because like I said, with leaf cuttings, you don't never know whether they're going to be a home run or not. This container's a little too big, so I'm going to put that big one back in there. And it's no biggie about putting all of these in the same jar. But like I said, I'm going to divide our chances. And then I have these really cute terracotta planters pots right here. So I have several of these. What I'm going to do is I have some like succulent soil. You could also do like sand. I haven't really tried full sand propagation, but I know that's quite popular for doing, you know, some herbaceous or woody plants. And I actually put a little water in here, so I'm not working with totally dry soil or substrate. So that's nice. I feel like it's a little bit more pliable to work with. So what I'm going to do is just stick that right in there, just so the base of the petiole is in there. And you are going to have to keep this somewhat moist. That's going to be a little challenge for me, so I don't know if these ones are going to turn out or not. And the reason why is because I'm not always here all the time. So I might have to tent it, you know, with like a little plastic bag or something. But even with humidity, you don't want to put too much humidity on it or it might rot. But just going to fill this up about halfway, yay big. And then I'm going to put this one in here like that. And again, we'll see if these turn out. I haven't seen too many full yellow variegated ZZs, so it'd be kind of cool to just propagate a few of these and see if I could get them into other people's hands. And then I have a larger one. We could put this big guy in there. In the scheme of things, I mean, this is not that large of a planter by all intents and purposes, but comparatively to what I'm working with here, it is. All right. And I like working with spoons with these smaller containers. It's a lot cleaner.
Can you talk to me about how it's not going to return back to green? You add some of that. If you cut it this way, it's actually going to come in white versus green or black.
Well, you know, this one I'm cutting is an all, you could see the leaf stem right here is almost this like creamy yellow pink color. And that tells me that this will probably end up continually being a fully variegated plant. Like for instance, if you saw one side of this creamy yellow on one side, then you would probably intuit that that side is going to be fully variegated. Now, whether this is going to stick out another stem, like a truly variegation, like I think this one was the fully yellow stem that I had cut off because it starts to deteriorate pretty quickly, and then I just like, you know, cut them off and then a new shoot comes out. But yeah, I'm guessing that these are gonna come out fully yellow. Maybe the one with the little green birthmark will come out with a little bit of chlorophyll. But yeah, I mean, time will tell. So I think I'm gonna have to wait. I mean, it is summer, so I think these are going to grow roots pretty readily, hopefully. The only thing that I think is that we're up against here is the fact that they're fully variegated and they might be a little slower than if they're actually green. So this is the black ZZ, and I think I'm just gonna, because this one's already kind of clipped, it's not as pretty as some of these, so I'm just going to cut off these little petioles for these little leaflets. Just a couple of them, I don't have to do all of them. And I'll put one in water, see with water propagation. And I'll put one here. And again, I haven't actually propagated the black ZZs. I'm sure these are gonna, I would guess, propagate a little better because they have a lot more chlorophyll in them. But we'll see, time will tell. And that's it. So ideally you'd miss these, or like I said, if you're going away for a little while or you have a tendency to not stay on top of it, just tent them up with a little plastic cup or something of that nature. And I think it's important because if you keep it moist, you know, you have a planter pot that has a hole in it. And I'm also using terracotta, so it'll take the water right out of it. I'll probably have to water this a bit more frequently, or at least keep the humidity and water it a bit more frequently, because I think if you let it go totally dry, it's just gonna dry out. Now, one of the things I should have said too, you can do this for the ZZ or you don't have to. Typically when you have like a succulent plant, this is, I would say, more of a semi-succulent plant, you can let this harden off for 24 hours or so before you actually put it into soil or even water if you want. And the benefit of having it callus over is that it's less likely to get any type of bacterial or fungal infection. But with ZZ plants, they're pretty hardy plants, so I didn't let them callus off. We'll see if that's a problem. If some of them have a high die-off rate, then I would say like, ooh, maybe I should have let them callus off a bit more. But you could do that as a safeguard. Again, with semi-succulent and succulent plants, that's usually good form, but ZZ plants, tough as nails. So, and hopefully I could get more propagations of this like yellow ZZ, because like I said, I haven't really seen a fully variegated ZZ like this in many people's collections, and it would be super cool to actually be able to propagate it. Yeah, maybe it's gonna be a little slow, but a slow yellow ZZ like this, it's almost like neon yellow. That would be really neat to be able to share. And that's it. Let's hope for the best. My friends and I have started a communal homestead in the Finger Lakes region of New York, and we're documenting our journey on our new channel, Flock Finger Lakes. We'll also be reinvesting 10% of our Google AdSense revenue from that channel back into the Finger Lakes community as well, which will be matched by our partners at Espoma Organic. So if you have a chance, check out the new channel to see what we're up to. In the meantime, if you're looking to expand your repertoire of plant education, then you can check out our full suite of online courses, including Houseplant Basics, the 125 Houseplant Care Spreadsheet, Troubleshoot Your Houseplants, and the Houseplant Masterclass. More information on all those courses can be found on homesteadbrooklyn.com.